Tomorrow they fight. Today they stepped on the scale. Timothy Bradley Jr. defends his welterweight title tomorrow against Manny Pacquiao in a rematch of a controversial split decision between the two fighters. Pac-Man weighing in at 145. Desert Storm at 145 and a half. Todd Grisham anchors our coverage from Vegas.
The last time these two men fought in June of 2012, Pacquiao was so dominant, no one seemed to want a rematch, and yet here we are, Dan. What's changed?
Well, what's changed is that both guys have done other things since. Nobody would have really accepted that rematch right after the fact because of the controversy, people thinking maybe that the fight was fixed. So they set on separate paths. Timothy Bradley came back, and even though everybody thought he lost the fight, had the fight of the year in 2013 against Ruslan Provodnikov, and then came back and beat Juan Manuel Marquez, who was a great champion, and he beat him very easily. And now we have a fight here with Pacquiao, who, by the way, got knocked out by Marquez in his next fight, but came back and beat Brandon Rios. So they're in different spots in their careers, and instead of forcing that rematch when it first happened, now it makes sense.
Teddy, the first fight, technically Tim Bradley won. How does he make it definitive this time around?
Oh, first of all, I tell you what he better not do. He better not really believe what he's saying about he's going to knock out Mr. Pacquiao. He better not look for vindication. He won the fight. He doesn't need vindication. If that's true, and he wants vindication in a way, because most people did think that he lost the fight, that he wants vindication where he has to do something spectacular, something, out of sorts, something out of character. He could wind up in the same position he was with Provodnikov. Dan mentioned it was fight of the year. Yeah, fight of the year. And he came this close to get knocked out. He was on the floor several times. He barely survived the fight, showed all the heart in the world. He fought the wrong fight. And I think the reason he fought the wrong fight, he was pushed into it because he was trying to prove to the fans that he could do that he could make them happy because they didn't think he beat Pacquiao. He better not try to prove nothing but to himself. Understand what he is and what he's not. Understand what he was the night with Marquez. When he fought on the outside, controlled range, used his speed, used his intellect, and he boxed a masterful fight. That's what he needs to do.
All right, it's time to pick your winner. Dan, who you got?
Well, last time I picked Bradley, and I was right, sort of. This time I'm going with Manny Pacquiao. I don't think he's as degraded as some people think, and I think that Timothy Bradley, although an outstanding fighter, I still know what I saw in June 2012, and that's him lose 11 out of 12 rounds. I like Pacquiao on a close points decision.
Teddy, you've done over 65 interviews this week on radio. It's your last chance to change your mind. Who's going to win tomorrow night?
66 coming up. Yeah, listen. I think both guys have changed. Dan's saying that he's picking because he thought Bradley lost the first time. I know that, and I agree, but they're different people now. They've been through immense change in fights where one guy got knocked out flat on his face, the other guy got dropped, but then he came back with the good fight with Marquez. I think Bradley wins this fight. I think that he remembers who he is, just like Clint Eastwood always said in Dirty Harry. A man must know his limitations. He knows his limitations after the Provodnikov fight. He stays on the outside and he takes advantage of the aggression, maybe the reckless aggression of Pacquiao, and he sets traps and he counterpunches.
For Dan Rafael and Teddy Atlas, my name is Todd Grisham. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night.